And welcome back to Nancy's Neighborhood. And I told you we had a second guest, and we do. And he's kind of a newbie, and I'm really glad to bring him on TV today and introduce him in case you all haven't met him. This is Joel Henderson, and he's the new Communication Director for the Cleveland-Bradley Chamber of Commerce. So, Joel, welcome.
Well, thank you, and I'm happy to be here.
I'm happy to have you here, and I'm happy to have you at the Chamber because you took the place of someone that had been there for 25 years?
25 years. My dear friend,
Nancy Neal.
Mm-hmm. She's just phenomenal, and a lot of folks are always saying, how do you feel filling into her shoes? I would never try to fill Nancy Neal's shoes. But what an honor to take what she's built on and continue to soar.
And so. She really had built on it, and I'm thrilled to have you there. And I know that the guys are glad to have you there because now we're starting to equate down there to not all females. Now we have some guys down there, and I mean we had them before, but now we've added another one. So welcome, and I'm so glad to have you on because I want the public to meet you and to know that you're going to be the face out there that's doing communications for the Chamber.
Well, thank you. I appreciate that.
And now tell us a little bit about your background because communications is not an easy thing to do.
Well, and I appreciate that, and it's also pretty broad, depending on what your focus area is. And I always call myself a storyteller, not to the true example. We have some wonderful storytellers in our community here in Bradley County.
Yes, we do.
But I've always been inquisitive ever since a young child. I think that kind of led me down that path of wanting to be a reporter at first. That was my first stop as a small town paper after I graduated from Southern. Back then it was called Southern College, now Southern Avenue University. But I did that about a year in Central Florida is where it led me to, where my folks have retired from this area down into Central Florida. And my wife says, honey, she's like, you know what? I don't think you can do this forever because anyone knows the reporters, and I have so much respect for journalists.
Absolutely.
Because it's a passion. Which led me to a local hospital that for most of my career until I moved home in 2008. I worked in Chattanooga before moving closer to home here in Cleveland. And to continue to do what I do is communications. And once again, helping tell stories of others. I've said this before to my friends, my newer friends at the Chamber and those who know me. I do not like to talk about myself. I like to talk, if I was here telling Nancy's story, I would be just smiling even bigger. I love to tell other stories.
Well, we've decided around the studio, we're not telling Nancy's story until she's been deceased for at least 2 months because we don't want anybody digging up everything that would be Nancy's story. But I am so glad that you're going to be telling the Chamber's story.
Absolutely. And before I step into the role of the Chamber and the great things that group's been doing and I could continue to help carry that torch, I'm not alone in this journey. I have a lovely bride, my wife Terry. We celebrated our 24th wedding anniversary in July.
Wow.
Yeah.
Fantastic.
And, well, thank you. We met on the line actually at McKee Foods, Little Debbie. And if you can fall in love wearing those non-so-flattering hairnets.
I love it.
Back then, I'm not sure if they still do this, but wearing all white with the chops, which is basically cookie crumbs all over you and all that, then it must be the real deal.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
And we have a lovely little girl, and that was the heartbeat that really, for many reasons, led us home. We were living in Central Florida, and we had my daughter, and age 4 came along, and we're like, what are we doing? We need to get home so she can enjoy that quality of life that wasn't in the shadow of Mickey Mouse, where we literally were, but just appreciating everything that our community, how we were raised. So we moved back and from kindergarten. Now she's in 8th grade this year.
Wow.
In the College Del Adventist Middle School system, because like I said, the great thing about depending where you live in Bradley County, we're down by Red Clay. It's just a hop and skip, and that led me. My commute now is 12 minutes to the office. I've never had a 12-minute commute in my life.
And it's an easy commute, too. It's not like
beautiful.
4 lanes going all kind of crazy ways.
Absolutely. Well, coming up from that neck of the woods, I passed Bendabout and past the horse farms. And just what a wonderful, to get me in the right mindset every day when I come into the Chamber office.
So I'm so thrilled that, like you say, you're there to tell the Chamber story because, I've been an advocate of the Chamber for many years. And so it's a wonderful story to tell, because they do so much for our community, and a lot of people don't realize.
And we were talking about that before we went on, and one of the things that it's newer to me, and maybe as a reminder to others, is a phenomenal resource is the community calendar.
Yes.
It is listed on the front page of the website, which is clevelandchamber.com, as simple as that. But if they would like to, anyone can go on there. The other thing is there's a confusion, so once again I can turn that light up a little bit to remind folks. that yes, the chamber represents the members and the businesses and those voices that we try to help. But the community calendar is broader than that. The community calendar is for anyone within our community that has events, upcoming fundraisers, programs, anything that serves the common good and the quality of life of our community, that they can post that on there. Now they are reviewed, just making sure that, once again, and some things I review is just punctuation.
Right, grammatically correct.
Or those dates, make sure they add up if people are putting them on there. But
Right.
it is something that they can, individuals themselves, put that information on there. And if anything needs to be edited or changed, of course, I can help with that.
And I have told people on this show before that it's just like on the 28th, the FOLA fundraiser and the Keep America Beautiful fundraisers were both the same nights, one block away from each other. One was at the museum, one was at the Elks Lodge. That's a shame.
Yeah.
Because both of them could have had a bigger crowd if they'd have had it different nights. And if they'll go to the calendar, then they can see if somebody else has already claimed that night and maybe move theirs one day forward or one day back, or whatever. But that calendar is there for everybody to use.
Yeah, it's a great resource to make sure, like you were saying, that there's not, or as our community continues to grow, there's obviously going to be something, but at least seeing what those somethings are.
Right.
The other thing as far as change, and I will not take any claim to this wonderful map, but I'll tell you, it's a nice refresher for those of us who grew up around here or continuing to run business here. The Chamber, in case you hadn't heard, I know you have, but maybe others have not, a brand new, it's just a few weeks literally old, community map of Charleston and Cleveland and Bradley County as a community as a whole. Once again, a huge, who can't love, our Colonel Cleveland there.
That is great,
Yeah,
yes.
for those of the, and I'm actually a son of the American Revolution myself, going back to Francis Scott Key.
Fantastic.
So yeah, I always get all, literally my wife looks at me, I tear up, who doesn't though, when we hear it, it's so motivational to me, but that's my family roots. But with the American Revolution, I mean, I love that for Cleveland, one more thing, that was the focus that was chosen to have on our map. Once again, just a great resource of showing where and things have grown and continue to grow towards as far as being able to get around town. But they're at the Chamber for $5.
$5, and that's a good deal because that's a good thick map and it's got a whole bunch of things in it. So,
it does.
And there are people, my son used to laugh when my husband and I first married and I moved down here, I got 2 for the price of 1. My son was like 10, 12 years old. And he said, you always stay on the main roads. You never take a back road. but I was not raised here, so I always stayed on Keith Street or Ocoee or Broad or something. Now, I take all kinds of back roads. But this is a great initiative for the Chamber to be redoing the map and getting it out so that it's updated. Things change.
Absolutely. And also some of the upcoming programs that are just, everyone gets busy on the holidays, but some of those save the dates. It'll be going out actually either by then today or tomorrow. The annual meeting for our chamber members is on the 23rd at Life Care.
So January 18.
January 23rd of 2018.
Okay.
There's so many things are coming up. I mean, and also, which we celebrate together, our arts.
Yes.
And the Allied Arts is celebrating their 25th anniversary this year on January the 11th. And the Save the Day has gone up just recently out on social media about that. And there's so many things going on. But even just in January alone, getting some of those dates for 2018, and I know I'm going back to that calendar, but at least look at that calendar past this year and looking into the spring, like with Cherry's Jubilee, and all those things that we celebrate in our community. Before we know it, it's going to be into 2018.
Well, Dwight Richardson called me the other day and he said, I just went on the calendar and Cherry's Jubilee is not on the calendar.
Well, it is now.
It is now because I sent Joel an email. I said, please put us on there for April the 13th. So that's basically what you need to do, and it's really great because it doesn't cost anybody anything to be on the calendar.
Exactly, and with social media, I mean, when we get these, whether it's the save the dates or some flyers or any information, we are happy to share those for the common good, and it redirects it back to the chamber website through once again the calendar. But all of that just really kind of continues support, and for those that are coming to check out our community, whether they want to live here or they visit here, they see what's happening. And
that's amazing because we have hundreds of requests every month for information about Cleveland Bradley County.
Absolutely.
And that to me, that's amazing. I mean, I know it's a great place to live, but because I've been here just a little over half of my life in Cleveland Bradley County, but a lot of people don't realize that we have the people that go from Florida back up north and back to Florida every year, they've found that they like it right here.
Oh, and with our seasons, I mean,
Yes.
even our backdrop today, which is the real deal when you
Yes.
have those beautiful fall leaves. And that's one of the things living in Central Florida, as you can imagine, we miss so dearly was the seasons.
Yeah, you didn't
Folks
have 'em.
ask me, like, do you miss those palm trees swaying? And I'm like, well, you know, not every day is blue skies, especially when you go through all kinds of storms.
That's right.
But it's so wonderful to be back home. And also at the Chamber, we're about to send back out throughout the year, obviously, going into 2018, is what do? We celebrate our members. We tell our members
Right.
stories. And a lot of times, as our community is celebrating, from my understanding, 175 years that's going
Yes,
on.
175.
We're supporting that messaging through Facebook, through our direct mail pieces, through our thank yous for each person in business that's helped build a community, such as yourself and
Oh, yeah.
everyone
Thank
else,
you.
to the reason why some of us want to, if we have moved away, why we want to come home.
Right, exactly why we wanted to come home. Back to Four Seasons, if nothing else. And there's just a lot of things that I think the Chamber needs to tell the story. And you keep saying quality of life. And I met with Leadership Cleveland the other day and gave my little quality of life spiel because
From the best class ever, which is my
well,
class.
thank you, the best class ever. But the thing that we don't realize is that there is quality of life in Cleveland, Brady County that you don't have everywhere. And when industries or businesses are looking at us, looking anywhere, they want to know our education system, who our employees might be. They want to know about our roads. But they also want to know about quality of life.
Absolutely.
And they want to know what's happening in this area, and we have a lot of it going on. And you mentioned the 25th anniversary of the Allied Arts. Glenn Miller Band Orchestra will be here for that event.
And it's, from my understanding, black tie.
Black
so they're going
tie.
to make sure it's gussy up or have cocktail dresses, from my understanding, to have fun.
Right.
It's, from my understanding, it's a party.
It's a party.
celebration.
A celebration
to
of the
honor
arts.
25 years of the arts in our community. And
That's
how
amazing.
exciting is that?
That's right, and that was one thing that the Chamber recognized in promoting business and industry into Cleveland, Brady County, was that people wanted to know quality of life. And so, and it's just like you're talking about, you want to move from Florida up here for a little bit better quality of life.
Absolutely.
And that's wonderful. So have you settled in? Have you got your desk straightened out? The boxes are unloaded and everything's
Well,
up
do I
and
dare
ready?
say it? So, well, the Chamber keeps me pretty busy.
Oh, I'm sure they do.
There's always something which is exciting we're talking about, but not just the events, the programs, the services. We just got through doing the manufacturing from a day to a week.
Yes.
I think it was a month. It's so exciting having the opportunity. I'm once again behind the scenes, but seeing our youth and getting prepared for the workplace and the workforce that we provide here in our community, so they don't feel that they would have to go somewhere else.
Absolutely.
That once upon graduation, what's next? And getting make sure that they have that workforce readiness. And I'm excited in my very small part that I can be a part of that, to at least communicate what's going on, sharing those stories, and then celebrating those successes.
Right.
That really sets us apart to the community that we are.
And there was a great article in the paper and great photographs, and I'm going to attribute that to you. I loved it.
Or my colleagues, because once again, I think the Chamber is very much a team, and that's something, once again, I was so excited continually every day. I won't even try to do that quote about when you find something you do, it's no longer work, it's something you love. That's probably my modified version of it, but it really is, and I could not be in a happier place.
And we are thrilled to death, Joel, to have you. Welcome aboard. I wanted the community to meet you, so if you see Joel out on the street, you'll know you can put a face with what you read in the newspaper or what you see on social media. So, Joel, thank you so much for being on with us today. And
Thank you.
You're down there at the Chamber. If they need to see you, they can just walk in and
Stop by.
see Miss Lisa or Miss Melissa at the front desk and ask for Joel. So thank you so much for being on
Thank
with
you,
us
Nancy.
today. Folks, don't go away. I give the same spiel. Watch our commercials, support our sponsors. They pay our bills. And I'll be right back with community events, so don't go away.